Central Michigan and Kent State meet under the Wednesday night lights in a MAC showdown that carries real weight for both programs. Central Michigan enters at 6-4, still alive in the chase for a spot in the MAC title game, while Kent State sits at 4-6, trying to claw their way toward bowl eligibility. Both teams are coming off wins, Central Michigan with a 38-19 victory over Buffalo, and Kent State with a wild 42-35 overtime win against Akron tonight. It comes down to which quarterback can control the tempo in a game defined by turnovers, rushing efficiency, and late-season urgency. Central Michigan turns to Joe Labus as their primary arm, and he's been steady all season. 10 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, and a completion rate built on smart, efficient reads. He doesn't push the ball downfield often, but he protects possessions and works comfortably within a run-first system that leans on Nari Biggins, Trey Cornist, and Brock Townsend. The Chippewas' coaching staff trusts Labas to manage the game, avoid mistakes, and take advantage of a Kent State defense that has been vulnerable at every level. There's also the wild card of Angel Flores, questionable tonight. But if he sees the field, he adds a dangerous dual-threat dimension that Kent State has struggled to contain all season. Across the field, Kent State rides Drew DeShields, who has quietly put together a strong statistical year. 16 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. He's efficient and comfortable in a clean pocket, but he carries a heavy burden behind one of the nation's weakest rushing attacks and a defense that routinely gives up explosive plays. DeShields can keep Kent State in the game with his arm, but the problem comes when the golden flashes fall behind. Without a reliable run game, they become one-dimensional, and that's where Central Michigan's opportunistic defense, already with 18 takeaways, can flip momentum fast. This matchup leans towards Central Michigan because of the trench play. They can run the ball, they can control the clock, they can pressure DeShields into forcing throws he doesn't want to make. And Kent State's defense, allowing more than 34 points per game, hasn't shown the consistency needed to stand up to a team still fighting for a championship opportunity. And today's AI pick is Central Michigan minus 8.5. Will we cash or will we burn? On to game 2.
Miami, Ohio, and Buffalo step into the cold at UB Stadium with the same record, the same conference mark, and the same problem. There's no more margin for error. Both teams sit at 5-5 overall, 4-2 in the MAC, chasing Western Michigan and fighting just to stay in the title conversation. Miami is coming off a 24-3 loss to Toledo, where the offense never found the end zone. Buffalo just fell 38-19 at Central Michigan, turning the ball over and letting the game slip away in the second half. Tonight is about which side's identity holds under pressure, Miami's defense or Buffalo's balance at home. For Miami, everything changed when Daquan Finn left the program to prepare for the NFL draft. His dual-threat presence is gone, and now the Redhawks ride with Henry Hessen under center. Hessen has flashed moments where the ball jumps off his hand, but the last outing against Toledo was rough. Completions were hard to come by, and interceptions killed drives before they could become points. He doesn't bring Finn's running threat, so Miami needs him to be efficient, not heroic. His job is to get the ball to Cam Perry downfield, keep the chains moving with underneath routes to Cade Weaver, and let the defense and run game do the heavy lifting, instead of forcing tight window throws into coverage. On the other sideline, Taquan Roberson leads Buffalo's offense. He has nearly 2,000 passing yards with double-digit touchdowns, but the 9 interceptions tell the other side of the story. When he's on time and in rhythm, Buffalo looks dangerous. Nick McMillan can win on the outside, and Victor Snow has turned into a versatile weapon who can hurt you from the slot or on designed touches. When Roberson presses, though, the mistakes come fast. 18 team turnovers on the year have taken points off the board and handed short fields to opponents, including last week at Central Michigan when the Bulls faded after halftime. This game feels like it tilts toward discipline and defense. Miami's identity is built on holding teams under 22 points, tackling in space, and quietly stealing possessions with timely takeaways. Buffalo's defense is good, but their offense has been more volatile. In a near pick'em with the line flipped toward Miami, the edge favors the team that is more comfortable in a slow, ugly, 4-quarter grind. And today's AI pick is Miami, Ohio, minus 1.5. Will we cash or will we burn? On to the recap with Lilith.
You made it through the cold and the chaos, so let's close the loop. Tonight, our Mac picks came down to discipline, defense, and who could survive the grind when the temperature dropped and the season tightened around them. First, Central Michigan minus 8.5. The Chippewas had the run game, the turnover edge, and the matchup advantage on every level. Kent State couldn't match their physicality or their efficiency, and the number told the truth. Before kickoff second, Miami, Ohio, minus 1.5. A quarterback change, a defensive identity, and a market flip toward the Redhawks made this one clear. Buffalo had the weapons, but Miami had the structure. When the spread tightened, the sharp side stayed steady. Ahora, tus selecciones en español. Central Michigan menos 8.5. Miami de Ohio menos 1.5. Back to English. Like and subscribe. Will we cash or will we burn? Und am Ende, wer den Nebel betritt, trägt seinen eigenen Schatten. Who enters the fog carries their own shadow.
Our family went to church each week, heard the preacher's voice and the gossip leak. He owned the jewelry store in town, sold wedding rings to everyone around. She took our band to get it shine, said he's just helping, he's real kind. But I caught that look he gave to her. Faith, diamonds, and sin for sure. Faith, diamonds, and sin, that's what the town talks in. Shine too bright and it burns your skin. Faith, diamonds, and sin. One Sunday the head preacher said the jeweler's got something heavy to shed. He walked to the front and looked our way, then all the church bowed heads to pray. He said, I've done wrong with another's wife, then stared at mine like it cut my life. She looked down, never moved again. Faith, diamonds, and sin. Faith, diamonds, and sin. Everybody's born again.